This is our new
remote
setup.
Wow, look at you fancy guys.
All right, so we are recording and streaming.
It's in 2 minutes, but that's great.
No, I already logged into that. And then just, those are your two tabs to stop it. If someone looks like they're gonna say something crazy, just stop it.
No, so just turn it off. That's what he's trying to tell you right now. Do I get a wild look at my end before that?
What's that button on the radio? Like 20-second delays with like
Yes.
eject.
Cough button. We don't have a 20-second button.
We should really invest in one.
I think we're probably better behaved than people this early on the radio.
That's possible. I think I do better than Howard Stern.
Sort of dangerous to have. I always sounded better when I took the minutes of meetings I was at.
Oh, you're very busy. It's very quiet.
Amazing what you catch me going to. I just always say that.
Ay, ay, ay. The minute between 5:59 and 6 is a longer minute than the rest.
So is the entire ABC coming tonight for his presentation? Tell Stacy she's like, I'll see you later.
6 o'clock.
She's here for 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, calling the meeting to order on Tuesday, September 5th, 2023, in Lee. First, we'd like to see if there's any public comments. No one is rushing the stage, so go to appointments. And Tappan, would you like to come up and speak?
Hello, Ann Tappan. I'm here on behalf of the Conservation Commission to update the board about habitat restoration work at Old Mill Reserve and entering into a contract with NRCS. That's the Natural Resources Conservation Service. The town-owned Old Mill Reserve is comprised of 2 parcels. Kelly and Cheney, both former gravel pits, were acquired around 2008. These adjoining parcels are located between Old Mill Road and Snell Road and bordered by the Oyster River. Total acreage is just over 100 acres. NRCS holds the conservation easement, and the Conservation Commission is responsible for stewardship of the land. Over a decade ago, shortly after the land was acquired by the town, NRCS conducted a major project to convert the gravel pits to a wetland and early successional habitat. The intended habitat is early successional, and that means field, small woody material, not trees and forest, is becoming overgrown with trees and non-native invasive species. The Commission is partnering with NRCS to restore the goals of the easement. A 50-plus page wetland reserve plan of operations details the work to be done to control brush, woody vegetation, invasive species, and other activities. NRCS will provide the funds to conduct the project. They set the standard for the work done and provide assistance before, during, and after the work is completed. The work is seasonal. Some of it actually is required to be done in the winter, and it will be done in over a period of 3 years, 2024, 2025, and 2026. The total cost for the 3-year project is $71,750. The work will be contracted by the town. The Commission will find the contractors. The town will receive 100% reimbursement for the work completed. I have a requested action, but perhaps you want questions. If anyone has questions.
You guys have questions?
What if the price is more?
It can't be more. That is the,
So the nature of the work will be shortened if prices go up for some reason?
it says actual cost not to exceed the specified maximum. Now, we have not worked with NRCS before. They have charts and graphs showing for this kind of activity, this is the amount, this is the cost. They have been very responsive, very easy to work with. If there were adjustments, it would be I'm sure it would be under the same reimbursement mode. But at this point, it is listed, that number is listed as the actual cost not to exceed specified maximum.
And at the last,
And Andy has come to a couple of our working group meetings, and so we've been talking to him, so I'd be happy to have him put with input.
Oh, the only thing I was gonna say was I had given Katrin a motion this evening and it put up to $71,750 in the motion.
Couldn't go over it.
The other thing that I put in that motion was ability to authorize the town administrator to sign the paperwork. This is an extremely paperwork-heavy project. I had signed the initial documents that Don Jeans had submitted. I had to put things like the town tax ID and various other information in there and then sign off. Then when I called NRCS, they said they were fine with the town administrator signing the paperwork. But I did put that in motion just so that the board
Great.
didn't want me to sign
take
the
it out.
paperwork.
so I remember when I was at the meeting, you guys were talking about who was gonna manage this whole process, because it's big. So is that gonna be falling on Andy's shoulders, or is there somebody?
No, it is the Conservation Commission partnering with NRCS. And we have, Dawn is quite often in the commission, there's somebody who needs to take the lead, and then members participate in the various projects. So Dawn has the lead. She's been working with them for actually a number of years to get this project off the ground and going. The truth is, we as commissioners, we cannot do anything on that land without their approval.
Okay.
So she's the connection, and we've had multiple emails back and forth with questions, or they seem to be very, very amenable to helping with at all levels of
Okay.
the project.
The nature of my question was, how much of this is gonna fall on town administrator's shoulders versus somebody on the commission, so.
From what I could see, very little.
Okay.
Other than the ability to sign paperwork in a timely fashion. That was the only concern that Don or NRCS had discussed.
And the other thing is the handling of the funds. I mean, the paperwork for the, money in and out, because that's something that the town administrator's office does.
We're good at that.
Thanks.
Do you want me to read the requested motion, or you
Oh, I have it here.
you have it there? Okay.
I'm really thrilled that you're working on this. This is exciting and vital to the health of our community, so I'm really excited that this is.
Yeah,
an
we
option.
are too. It's a giant project.
Yeah.
And we need a
And really
big
important.
partner to do this.
That's great. Excited. Are there any other questions? All right, I'll go ahead and read. I move to approve acceptance, there we go, of the $71,750 in federal grant funding from the Natural Resource Conservation Service for restoration work and invasive plant management at the Old Mill Reserve conservation parcels, and to authorize the town administrator to sign application forms as necessary and required by the USDA and NRCS. Want to read it? You can. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Oh, and I ask
Any
another question. How do they deal with, this is an Andy question, how do they deal with reimbursement? Do they wait until the end? Can you get reimbursement as you go along? How does that work?
They will reimburse as we go along, as the work is completed, is my understanding, yes. And the other thing I would mention is we will also hold a formal posted public hearing before acceptance of the initial deposit, which I believe is $44,000.
Yeah, and some of the work has to be done in a certain order. Other work can fit in around it. So the total will not change, but some of the in different years, the numbers might be slightly different.
Fair enough.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved.
Thank you very much, and the commission is very excited about this project.
Great, I'm excited. All right, Mr. Bullock.
So here's talk about the possibility of extending the paving contract with Continental for another year, like we did last year. Everything went well again this year, and we got a lot done. It came in under budget.
They gave you the best price.
Each year.
They gave us the best price 2 years ago. It was like, it was 84.60 is what the bid was. With the asphalt adjustment this year, we paid 82.20, I think. So it was $2 a ton less, which we were able to put right back on the road.
So what's their price for next year? Is it?
They're gonna base whatever price they give me off 84.60 again, like the original bid, and then we have the escalations and de-escalations within the contract that allow us to go higher or lower.
So basically, you're asking us that you're getting permission to not go out to bid? Is that what you're asking us?
Yeah, and just extend it like we did like we did last year. We didn't go out this past spring. I had asked and we extended it another year. So I'm asking to do that again.
All right, I'm okay with it, but that, for me, that would be the end. I think we need to go out to bid after that.
Which is fine, that's what other towns have done that.
Yeah.
I know Durham extended 3 years this year, they're going out to bid.
Okay.
I think you had gone out to bid in 2022 when I first came on. I know when I look back over the notes in 2021, it looked like we had contacted 5 or 6 contractors and maybe 3 had responded.
Yeah, Brock's, Pike, and Continental. We've reduced the amount of people that can bid on the projects because I require them to be state certified. So they have to be able to pave a state road in order to pave our roads, which gets rid of a lot of,
Joe's paving service.
yeah, and companies that that would come in and undercut and then
Yeah.
you really don't do a very good job. A couple towns had that happen this year, and the prices may have been a lot cheaper, but they ended up spending more because they either went way over or they just weren't happy with what they got.
Quality's been excellent, I think that's key. And we don't have a lot of complaints that I've heard of, so that's another good important thing. All right, what do we think?
I'm fine.
Sounds good, let's do
And
it.
the next, this is the last, and then we go out to bid.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve, can you wait just a minute? Just so the other 2 board members, when I was in the cemetery, I heard this big crash, and there were limbs falling off a large tree on the parish house lot. So I asked Steve to take a look. I don't know, that tree looks dead to me, but
Yeah, I was alive a couple of years ago. It's died. It's been dying slowly.
so,
I've called the power company 3 or 4 times because,
so it's theirs, not ours?
well, I mean, it's on, they don't own trees, it's on town property.
I know, but,
I've called the state too, trying to get somebody else to do it, but it's not, it hasn't worked.
okay, all right. Just so the board's aware, because it's a liability if it falls on somebody, you know, so,
There's a cemetery on the parish house?
no, it's across the road.
Oh, you were just in the cemetery when you heard it
Yes,
falling?
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood something.
Yes, I was in the cemetery, heard a crash, looked over, and there's all kinds of trees moving all over the place because the big limbs came down.
Okay.
So after I was done doing my cemetery duty, I went over and there's big limbs all over the place.
Is that tree right in front?
Yeah, it's a big maple tree.
One of the things we're gonna have to do if we go forward with the new town hall plan, town municipal building, is we'd have to clear that area of woods anyway, so is that something that could be combined with that?
Yeah, and that's, I know, you stopped by the other morning when we were in there, Katrin, there's actually, it looks to me, as an untrained novice, like there's more sellable timber in there than I realized before. I was looking at it as old sheep pasture with some scrub oak and that sort of thing. There's actually some fairly decent white pine logs in there and some oak, so
So it might be worth actually just doing
having
a
a
small
forest
little forest.
survey or
Yeah.
something, have a
Yeah.
farmer take a look at it.
That was not gonna make it that long, that was gonna come down.
We can't like take it down.
Yeah, the problem is we've had so much rain, all the stuff that's rotting.
So it's not all the way down, it's just halfway down, is that what you're saying?
No, it's just branches falling off. The amount of rain we've had, we're finding a lot of stuff exactly like that, that's just randomly falling that
Okay.
we don't normally see
I
fall.
think it's the drought and rain that's
Yeah.
causing the
It's
trouble.
just holding so much weight too. It's, spongy, punky wood that's
Right.
holding the water.
Well, we just need to deal with it so that nobody's walking along the road there and then it falls on somebody, and then who's responsible, so.
Okay.
Better take
So
care
it's
of
something we
that.
can do quickly to,
I can't get it down, it's gotta, somebody has to come do it, and I already called, but it's a matter of when they're able to come cut it, so.
and what is the story with the lurch by the annex? I thought that was going with the.
Library.
What's it called? Yeah, that,
It's got too many power lines around it for me to do anything with.
I know, but I thought that that was one of the great things about this whole deal, was that that Eversource was gonna finally take care of that thing.
I actually talked with Brian Garris last week from Milestone, who expressed disappointment that that had not been taken care of.
Yeah.
And was supposedly in contact with Eversource,
Okay. Okay.
having it done.
I think we're all ready to say goodbye.
We looked at it, but we're not.
Right, no, I
I
never
don't-
thought you were gonna do it, I thought, I was on the,
We could have if it wasn't near power lines, but
Correct.
I won't screw with
Which-
those.
means that that would have been a great thing to go on. Okay, and we're still working on an agreement with the tree cutting that we're working on with Eversource, so there's a lot of trees to deal with. Okay. Is this a motion?
So I can use all it.
Oh, sure, okay. We authorize the Public Works Director to enter into contract with the Continental Paving, you wanted, for this last one, I thought you were talking about the trees.
That's my shooting.
To enter into contract with Continental Paving for the 2023-2024 paving year. Is that correct? No, it's 2024-2025.
No, it is, that's the right one.
2023-2024.
Because we're gonna pave in 24.
Oh, okay, paving year, funds to come from the FY24 highway operating budget.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Okay.
Aye, so moved. All right, so we don't really have a solution for you for the tree.
He has a solution.
He's just waiting.
I'm just waiting because I know what's next, and I'm probably gonna have to stand back up, so I'm just standing here.
Okay. So go ahead, Town Administrator. I was like, what are we doing?
The primary item I had this evening was maintenance of the town field. I had an informal conversation with Karen Rossi and Steve about the town taking care of the field adjacent to the Massway Middle School that is primarily used by the Massway Middle School. At their suggestion, I talked to Dr. Morse and said, hey, would you consider one of two things, either helping us with field maintenance costs or helping us with refurbishment of the tennis courts? And he replied pretty quickly and said that he didn't feel the middle school got much use out of the tennis court, but he was completely on board with field maintenance and is going
Okay.
to see what they can incorporate into their budget with regard to helping us pay for maintenance on the field.
So are we thinking about still refurbishing the tennis court, or are we thinking about getting rid of the tennis court and just making the field?
I believe the Recreation Commission is interested in renovating, restoring the surface of the tennis court. Or at least that was the impression I got from Ms. Rossi. Other folks.
I'm just waiting for the magic words of pickleball to get into the conversation at some point soon. No,
I have not heard anything about that.
There's only
I've heard.
4 of them at the park.
plenty, all right.
I do know that there's a new pickleball center.
Yes.
It's coming in York, Maine. It's
Yes,
supposed to be a
it's gonna
fabulous
be in
facility.
Exeter and other places. It's really good. Okay, so great. If the Recreation Commission can afford that and raise money towards that, then that is fabulous. And we have help with the field, so that sounds like we've,
I haven't seen an actual number yet, so
Okay.
we'll see what they're amenable to doing. But
great. Any other discussions? No? Field? No? Fabulous. Anything else?
Under miscellaneous, I reached out under the CARES Act to see what's available for grant funding regarding air purifiers for this room and possibly the office. And I'm sort of hit a dead end with regard to grant money.
Okay.
I was told that there is grant money available. I have the specifics here. It has to be from expenditures from 2019 through late 2021, but they sort of shut me off with regard to that explanation and said that if you are not an educational institution, i.e. a school or something similar, or a healthcare or a health provider, you're not eligible to use that as an expenditure under the CARES funding.
Got it.
So I haven't found any other grant funding that would pay for the air purifiers. I have found air purifiers.
Okay.
The same model ranging in cost from $2,200 to $4,100, depending on your supplier you use. And yeah, these are portable, handle about 3,000 square feet an hour. You can certainly get one to put in this room. Might be the most advantageous room to have this in. And it could be moved downstairs too if there were large meetings downstairs, because they're portable and on wheels. But I don't know what the board's
Yeah.
pleasure is. I know my initial thought was that I would be able to get.
Free was my
funding.
favorite price. That was like a very no-brainer, like, here's a great thing we can use, it's free, that sounds fabulous. I don't know, it's up to you guys about.
What problem is this addressing?
This is for any type of virus or respirational, whatever, anything that's in the air, so that way you have, you kind of just cutting down on the sicknesses that are spreading. So it was originally introduced because of COVID, but it's great for flu, colds, things like that that are in the air. So while you're having a meeting like this, you're just decreasing the spread of illness. So one of the things we noticed is that in the town hall, when one person gets sick, then that's like a domino effect. Where if you have one of these running all the time, you can really limit that. The person finds out that they're sick not long after and then can go home and be sick when they're really contagious, but you get rid of it in the air when they're not aware yet. So great.
I just have to jump in and say that at the town offices, we were pretty good about not done.
Sorry.
This building had it done.
All right, I apologize. People kept getting sick, so you're right, so here, so maybe that's good. And like I said, for 30, that was a
So-
great possibility.
It's people in this building we're concerned about? Like the police department and the fire department, is that what you're talking about?
No, my thought was that its best use might well be in the public meeting room. It's portable, so if you had indication that you were going to see something in another department, you could certainly move it there. But my thought was that it would be great to have these in areas where employees are, but probably the biggest interaction point is a room like this where we've got people coming together, and if we had a portable one, you could put it in this room, you could put it downstairs as well if you had an event downstairs. If one police officer started to sniffle, you could put it in the police department and
Right.
send them home.
Right, just clean it up.
So what's the difference in the cost? I assume the more expensive one covers a larger area?
The more expensive, generally the larger area, yes, these are all for the most part what they call three-phase eliminators, and I forget the three phases, but there are three distinct types of germ or virus you're trying to remove from the air. And that price range I gave, strangely enough, I found 4 or 5 companies all selling the same size, same brand purifier, and the lower end price was in the 2000s and the higher end price was just a little over 4,000 with no explanation.
So do you think that there's any local purifiers that people had during COVID but aren't actively using anymore that they wanna, you could find like I'm just thinking like there's probably people that
Certainly
did it while it
make
was
some
free.
inquiries or check with the
Yeah.
White Farm and see if they've got anything in Concord that
Yeah.
the state is no longer using.
Right, that might be smart, because then we're not paying full price, getting a decent deal, and then having the opportunity.
Well, if things were at the White Farm, you're paying nowhere near close to.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's people that had extras that are probably not using them. It's basically one of those things where you don't know what's coming, but having something like that does allow you to have opportunities, even when things get challenging, that you can be prepared. So, options.
And I think the part that I didn't initially understand when I looked at the grant was this was associated with the ESSER grant, ESSER, which was, they used their definition, as I understand it, in conjunction with CARES, which restricted it to educational and health providers.
And that was the only one, because I read about them for municipalities that were like, and I know like Stratford Regional got them paid for free, like there's a lot of other.
I had been able to find nothing.
Okay,
This
so
is
someone
for
who finds
general
it, like,
municipal use, but I can certainly check with Stratford Regional. All of these lead you to believe that CARES Act thing that I gave you months ago had,
Yeah.
a US flag on it and CARES Act apply, and then when you read the small print, it says this is eligible.
Okay.
Which was pointed out to me that if I read the small print, I would see that it was eligible for education and health.
Maybe we'll grab that grab something from the, from the.
I will certainly see what's available.
Perfect, all right. Anyone have any other thoughts?
I have a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff that is
Go for
half
it.
gels, so I will just hold off until I
Oh, okay, half
have
gels.
some information for
We have
you.
a very long meeting coming up on the 18th, so I'm sure there's nothing else you want to get out now? Okay. I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved.
Why isn't it the 18th early?
Because the 18th we have a presentation is she, no, she's coming later in the,
Yeah, October 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was a different early.
okay, that's right. And then, so maybe it's not going to be as long as I thought, but there's something else we were having, keep hearing about options.
It's all written down in the folder in Lisa's office.
There you go. So maybe it's not.
Bless you.
Make sure we have one of those air purifiers.
Somebody wants to throw me something that keeps us all healthier, I'm gonna grab it for free. It gets a little challenging when it's for
Are you the municipal assessing official?
Yes. You are, I am in Katrina.
We could put like, make him name it and put like little, go get Henry. Sign for him. Larry. There you go. There must be some good name you could give him from Lee, some famous person he would love to be known for air purification.
Already.
Thanks. Definitely not.
Stevens air purifier.
This is fun when you sign last, you don't have to figure out what you're signing first. Everybody else has to do that.
I mean,
I don't have to be like, is it accept or deny or whatever. I don't have to, I just sign.
that one, and that one's all done.
Thank you. All right.
You get a half bless you for that.
Do we have any old business?
The only thing I would mention is with regard to the digitization project, I did my best to get a count of what we might have for documents. Took pictures of the bank boxes we have in storage, both here and at the town offices, and sent them to Canon, and they are still working on some hard and fast proposals for me.
Great.
That was mid last week, so I expect to have something back fairly soon.
Can I ask you, I know Stacy brought it up at our ABC meeting, space online for Heritage Commission to do, saving up, they're supposed to be digitizing stuff this Saturday. They need a space.
Okay, and I can certainly, and I don't know whether it's been done yet or not, but I'll call Steve Gagnon tomorrow because we can certainly set up SharePoint space for that.
Okay.
There's been some, I've had a little bit of back and forth over the last week with Steve Gagnon, the technology committee, and myself over the SharePoint space, but we can certainly have available space for the Heritage Commission if they don't have it set up yet.
Okay.
And who is go with the president for that?
The chairperson.
The chairperson?
Is Patricia.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Just because Steve will have to call them and log on to their computer, and
log onto their computer.
typically he logs on remotely and authorizes access to their machine, but
Not gonna work with her. She has an iPad.
I did it with an iPad. I did it with Steve on an iPad.
All right. Well, she has an iPad and she has a
okay.
smartphone that
How are they scanning the materials?
they have a scanner,
Which is attached to,
anything. It can scan on, as it sits all by itself, you can attach a laptop to it.
because maybe that's what you need to make sure
Whatever the laptop is.
whatever laptop you guys are planning on attaching it to, that's what's gonna need to access to
think-
SharePoint,
Yeah. I
not
think-
her iPad.
Well, I think in terms of for Saturday, they're not bringing a laptop, they're just scanning it to the
The
machine.
scanner has a database to save it?
No, the scanner has a card in it, so
Okay, so
then you can move the card.
Has
to-
enough room.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
We're gonna let you guys figure that out.
yeah, so,
I'll make sure that you've got some allocated SharePoint space.
okay. They're just looking for some place to center it centrally, so it's not on somebody's home computer or whatever, so, thanks.
Great. All right, new business. I asked that we have a discussion around Indigenous Peoples' Day because right now the school is closed. It's actually closed for Friday before and that Monday. What?
So that's ridiculous, but it's fine.
We also have a lot of other, the 4-day weekends are fun. We also have a lot of other communities around that are closed, and one of the things that all research is finding is that having some time off from work actually makes people more productive. So it also adds, by us having more holidays, it actually adds to our benefits package, which helps us be more attractive in hiring. So I would like to discuss the possibility of allowing that to be a day off for our employees.
You did change the name last year.
We did.
Yep.
We did. And in honoring that and making it so people can actually go out and celebrate.
The town clerk's office is closed.
That's right.
On that.
And the library as well? Yeah, so really it's a very small part of the town that's working, which seems unfair. We looked in and our number of holidays is similar to many towns. It would be one more than a few, so not out of range.
I don't have any concerns about that, other than I asked last year if we could make a calendar for the whole year, and if we
Yes.
had all the holidays, and I was assured we did.
We had all the holidays?
That we discussed all the holidays that were on the calendar, so we wouldn't have to keep doing that.
We did last year, and we discussing this, and then we never discussed it. Because it was on our radar last year, and we said, do we have a,
Right, and I said, do we have the calendar all set? And they said, no, there's no holidays on it, I think, they don't worry about it. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so, can we please just make a calendar?
Can make a calendar and include Indigenous Peoples' Day if the board chooses to.
I have no concerns about it. I'm off. I'm actually off Monday and Tuesday.
well, there you go, yeah, we have on Monday, and, the school has, that's the other thing, if people work in the community and their kids don't have school, that's hard too. Thoughts, Mr. Buckby?
I'm not in favor of it, thank you very much. though.
Okay. So should we vote?
You will have to.
Okay. I move that we make Indigenous Peoples' Day a town holiday.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, so moved. All right. Budget instructions? What is that?
The Budget Committee, and actually Denise and I had a brief meeting with Stacy Waits, the chairwoman of the Budget Committee, who is with you this evening, and she expressed interest, and other Budget Committee members have expressed interest as well in knowing what the board's thoughts were for the
Oh,
budget season moving forward, and if you had recommendations or specific direction you wanted to focus on. And if I'm missing anything, Ms. Waits, please.
No, that's about right, that sums it up. We just want to be able to give some guidance to the,
If you're gonna speak
Sorry.
into the,
hello, nice to see everyone today. We would just like to be able to provide the department heads with some guidance as to what kind of increase, whether it be a percentage or a dollar figure, that you may be interested in considering for the fiscal year '25 budget, so we can make sure that the proposal that we give to you is in line with those instructions. That way that maybe we could eliminate some of the back and forth or, changes after the fact once we give our recommendation.
that's great. I know one thing that I'm concerned about is we kind of continuously throughout the year discuss salary. I would really love to get onto an annual basis of looking at salaries and then making sure that they're settled for the year. So is there any way that we can make recommendations in regards to any of that? No?
Agreed.
Okay,
I have the same exact thought.
good.
Which doesn't give you a number or anything else, but I think that the departments probably need to think very carefully about what salaries they think they need in order to keep people here and share that information, because there's been a lot of back and forth.
Okay.
There's no money, So,
Yeah, and once a year really makes it fair to the community because they're part of that decision. So that'd be really helpful.
Okay. When was the last time that we had a large number of salary adjustments?
Last year, the year before.
Okay,
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
I've never
Okay.
not had challenges.
I think you need to give a little bit more information.
I
Okay.
The thing that certain members are alluding to is the board has experienced certain department heads coming and saying, oh, my people need more money. And then the next department head will come and, oh, my people need more money.
Yep.
So I think what they're getting at, I don't want to put words in your mouth,
Mhm.
we'd like to have that one time as an annual basis. So I'm not sure how well you can do that with the department heads, because at any time they can come and ask for whatever they want. That
Yep.
doesn't mean we have to give it to them, but the thing that the board's experiencing is, well, I'm gonna lose employee X because he's going or she's going to this particular other department.
Mhm.
Maybe if we gave them more money, they would say, some of that has worked, some of it hasn't.
Yep.
But the thing is, our staff, some of our staff are being lured away because we're a smaller town. And if they go to Durham, Portsmouth, Dover, or whatever, there's no way that we can compete with the wages that they pay. And I don't begrudge these people taking doing that because they're looking out for their best interest. But it becomes a problem because it's like a never-ending door in terms of who's coming for raises. So I'm not sure what the ABC can do about that, but
Let them know.
that's the thought.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly communicate that to the department heads, that if they expect that there may be some attrition in their departments, that they plan in advance for that and put it into their budget. And that anything that's not planned for previously is not going to be considered by the select board out of cycle.
Love it.
And in terms of other things, I don't know what you ladies would like to do, but I would like to instruct them to limit their increases to no more than what inflation is at the moment.
Okay?
So I don't know if you ladies concur, but,
is that including or excluding
salary,
salaries?
excluding.
Excluding salaries.
Yes, so we just instructed in terms of
Okay, I just want to make
salaries.
sure you're.
And then if everything else is left to inflation, so.
Yeah, it's hard because there's some things that aren't.
Well-
So inflation of that particular item, like if something isn't increasing in inflation numbers, but
So,
something is.
for instance, if a department head comes to us and let's say they say inflation is 3% or whatever it is. And they say, oh, no, well, I've got to have this service and the price just went up 5%.
Correct.
They need to explain that why
I like that.
versus, oh, no, I just want more money. No, that's not.
Correct. Like it's just overall 3% is a large, but yes, for this particular item, here's where the changes are going.
The other thing is, and I'm not sure, Katrina, you can maybe share this or fill this in.
Mhm.
The CIP committee is rolling along.
Yeah, so the CIP committee would very much like to put their request in with you so that we are asking the department heads once to look at all their budgeting needs. So
Okay.
if that'd be great if we could hand them in together. So it would be a request and Dave Cedarholm would be the one to communicate with. But basically, or yeah, I guess you could share the information too. But basically, we're gonna be asking for the next, did we decide 5 or 6 years?
6 years.
6 years.
Plus big stuff.
And then anything really big, like over 100,000 in the next 20 years.
Okay.
So we can-
And so that, right now I have them on the calendar for the CIP as a separate
Correct.
budgetary request, so now we're kind of changing that, is that what you're
No.
saying?
We're gonna just ask them at the same time. So we're not asking for a separate, we're asking for 2 different things. We're just asking the department heads at one time.
Okay,
Look at your budget, let us know for your budget requests for the select board, and also if you have CIP requests
okay,
specifically for capital improvements.
got it,
That way we're not, we just don't wanna hit everybody up
twice.
a budget times.
Yeah, okay, so then I would expect that for the CIP committee presentation, it's inclusive of all the requests made by the department heads.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
The other thing, and I don't want to put words in Stacy's mouth, but they need to know also in terms of when you expect them to present. I assume December 11th?
For their,
The ABC?
Yes.
Yeah. When would you like the advisory budget committee to present our recommendation to you?
it's a great question, thank you.
Just so they know to prepare and so.
Yeah, just being aware that Hanukkah is then, so is there a fair request? I'm not sure.
Well, I'm just thinking, I believe that's our regular scheduled meeting.
Yes.
So unless we don't have it that night, then you have to have a special meeting.
Correct.
So I'm not sure.
It would be my first request. I just want to be respectful and cognizant of the holiday.
We just need to let them know.
Yeah, so can we suggest that as a date? And
What day was that, I'm sorry?
December 11th?
It's a Monday.
December, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, we are going to be asking the department heads for their overall budgets to limit them to no more than the current inflation rate. Is that right? Is there a particular inflation rate that you use?
Some people walk away, they're like, wait, that was.
I think we don't mean literally the rate, thing was the inflation rate of the good. So if cell phones are inflating at 10%, then we would expect cell phone purchase to go up by 10%.
Yeah, I have provided the board, as we've gone through budget season before, with the Northeastern CPI, Consumer Price Index, which
Great.
gives you a pretty good idea, and that's published on a monthly basis.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind sharing that with me,
I certainly can.
then we will let the department heads know that that's gonna be what we're shooting for.
Great.
And hopefully they can come in somewhere near that.
I think their priority is going to be salaries as well, so the less that everything else expands, the more flexibility we have.
Okay. Is there any way that this committee could provide us with information on when the last salary adjustments were for certain positions that we have?
I have a pretty good, a couple of different places, but I can put them together and
Okay.
give you a pretty good idea,
Okay, all right, that'd be helpful for us.
including the most recent COLA.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for doing the work you do. All right. So it looks like we are on to nothing else. Anything else? Anyone else has anything to say? No? All right, I motion to move into non-public session NHRSA 91-A:3, 2A and L.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote. Ms. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Bugsby?
Yes.
Casper, yes. So moved. Have a great night, everybody.
Hey Pat, can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
About the CIP, has that request that it comes from the department has already been communicated to them?
I think we were waiting, right? Because we wanted to talk to ABC. I thought Dave had reached out to you, but
Okay, okay, then that's fine. Is it okay if I communicate it to them? Or does
Yes.
it come from you guys?
yeah,
Okay,
because the CIP was going to communicate it to you, we dropped the ball. so.
okay. All right, so I'll shoot
Reach out.
every department head an email and tell them we're shooting for inflation and we are,
Yeah. Do you want to give a quick email to Dave Cedar just to make sure
okay, yeah,
it's still happening, and then go from there?
Yes.
okay, that sounds good. Okay, yes.
Did you guys approve the schedule sort of the other?
So, yes, and I'm gonna send you an email on that, and I'm also gonna send you my minutes.
Okay.
If I can just have till like the end of the week to do that.
That's fine, as
Okay.
long as, I was just gonna, I have a couple answers on the meeting dates, moving one group to another time. The fire,
I think,
that whole group.
yeah, they wanted to do it on November 16th instead of November 2nd. I think I already adjusted that.
Yeah, well, I just got the email today about the ambulance guys saying, yeah, they can make it. So
Okay.
they can move too.
Okay,
McGregor,
yeah,
so they can do that.
okay.
Or today or yesterday. What day is today? No,
Tuesday.
today's,
I hate
today's
Lisa's
Tuesday,
turn.
right?
Okay, terrible.
It must have been today then, right? 'Cause- Yeah, okay. So, okay, yeah, that's great.
Okay.
So then we can, just confirm that and,
I'll send you a final version.
okay.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly,
It'll keep changing anyway.
it's gonna keep
Yeah,
changing. I'm
As long as
putting,
the actual dates of the meeting don't change.
I am putting the meetings, you probably just saw this, Pat, but I'm putting all the meetings on all the ABC committee members' calendars. And if we need to like shift around who's coming on what days, that's fine, but all of us will be present. And maybe we can just use the other meetings to talk about
Stuff.
budget items.
Now, are the select board members coming? I got the
They
impression.
come to every single,
Okay, Katrin said something about they were gonna do it remotely and she was just gonna watch recordings.
I think she has a few that she might need to miss.
I
Oh,
think
okay,
there was
good.
one
Travel.
too, yeah,
Okay.
that she might miss, but no.
There's one I'm gonna miss, but
Yeah.
it's nothing I can do for her.
Okay,
Yeah, they'll be there.
Okay.
so if you could forward me that email about whoever McGregor asked for another change.
No, he didn't ask for another change, he
Okay.
just can make
Oh,
the
what's on
move.
his?
the move with the fire department.
Oh,
and-
to the 16th, okay,
Yeah.
got it, okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Okay.
And do I need to sign it? Yeah.
Oh, I never signed it
Oh,
either.
that's good, here we go.
I'm sorry I missed the other night.
No, it's totally fine, I hope that whatever was going
Oh,
on
it
has
just,
been
my husband
resolved.
was back. It was just,
Um,
some nights are more challenging than others. You-
I
you
hear
kids, you
that.
know.
We introduced the new members.
Now, one of us is CPA, isn't he?
Yes, that's Eric.
Yeah.
They weren't thrilled when I asked them to take turns taking notes. They were both like, I'm terrible at taking notes. And I was like, well, you're the new members. It's kind of like a rite of passage. You're a new member, you have to take notes.
And it's only the meetings that Andy and Denise come to. You guys take it.
Yeah.
That's right, you don't come to these meetings ever anymore, do you?
No, but I have to come to one in sometime.
Oh,
Andy can't make it, so, yeah, I don't know.
okay.
But, right,
There's only 2 meetings that they actually have to take minutes for that aren't gonna be including select board members. And
We
so
recorded, yeah.
I told
yeah.
them
well,
like,
they're all recorded.
you
yeah,
guys
but-
just pick, you know.
They're
each
all
do one.
recorded.
Yeah, you can watch it later.
Can you generate minutes from a recording?
Not, well, they should take them for the ones that they're the only ones there.
Yeah,
And I say that, I hope someone took them the other night, because you know what, I don't know if that was recorded.
I did, I have notes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, good.
so I'll make the minutes for this one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Denise. Have a nice evening.
Bye.
We're having some organizational issues.
Oh, really? What's going on?
not be here for sure. I gotta tell you, I really
pack my car with all my son's belongings.
want my kids to take bingo today in class, and none of them did. I'm so disappointed. And I'll tell you why, because you know, because I put it that way, because I'm short.
Oh, so
Yeah.
now I just
I've been here 5'2", and a half.
Yes.
I will never forget your hat for you. I know.
See, I'll shrink that a little way.
No. That's just- Okay.
I motion to seal the non-public minutes.
Second,
Any discussion?
no,
Mr. Bugby?
yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Ms. Casper says yes. So moved. Anything else? I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye, so moved. Have a
We're
wonderful
doing
night.
encrypted